Everything is in God's will. There was a king who had a slave.
I'm at a
And his
trauma
slave was a trusted slave. Everywhere that king went,
training.
he took his trusted slave with him. But what made the king mad about this slave is that every time they got into a problem or a situation, the slave would say, my king, everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Nothing happens by chance. Everything is in God's will. Made the king mad. One day, the king and the slave was out hunting. And a wild animal jumped out of the bushes onto the king. And that slave jumped on that animal and wrestled that animal and wrestled that animal. And finally, he got that animal off the king. But not before the wild animal bit one of the king's fingers off. And the king said, my slave, where was this God that you talked about when this animal bit my finger off? First thing out of the slave's mouth, my king, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Nothing happens by chance. Everything is in God's will. Made the king so mad that when they got back to the kingdom, he threw the slave in jail. About a year later, slave still in jail. The nub healed on the king's hand. The king went out hunting by himself because once again his trusted slave was in jail.
Yeah.
As the king was out hunting by himself, a group of savages captured the king. And in their tradition, when they capture somebody that is not of them, they sacrifice that person to their gods. So they built the altar and they laid the king on the altar. And just before they were getting ready to kill and sacrifice this king, the head savage says, wait a minute, we can't sacrifice this man. This is an imperfect sacrifice. He's missing a finger. Let him go.
Wow.
The king gets off the altar, runs back to his kingdom, orders that his slave be let out of jail after over a year. The slave comes before the king. He says, my slave, this God that you talked about was there for me. I was getting ready to get sacrificed, but your God that you talked about saved me. And then the king said, but wait a minute. Why did your God allow me to throw you in jail for over a year? This is what the slave said. He said, my king, if I had been with you that day, like I usually am, I would have been sacrificed because I have all my limbs. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Nothing happens by chance. Everything is in God's will.
All right. This is Mr. Brian from Beautiful Scars. Mr. Brian Anderson. Very powerful man. He is a very powerful man. I am in a training, trauma-informed mental health service system, and we are having a blast here learning. With my peers, we have Teresa over there training, and Miss Angie.
Talk about grants.
We will talk to you guys later.